Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful today.
Taylor's desperate proposal and Will's underhanded ruse. Nozoa Luna. In the meantime, Ridge Forrester receives a marriage proposal from Taylor Hayes. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The desperate proposal of Taylor Hayes. In the weekly preview segment, Taylor pops the question to Ridge. A woman proposing to a man is perfectly acceptable. This wasn't planned, though, and it appears to be a spontaneous response to Brooke's boasting about Ridge becoming envious of Nick Marone. It appears that someone will hear Taylor's suggestion. Prior to that, let's discuss Ridge's expression during the proposition. Unfortunately for Taylor, it appears that Ridge is uncomfortable rather than thrilled by Taylor's proposal of marriage. Because he doesn't want Taylor to experience broken heart syndrome once more, the designer may still say yes. Nick Marone's startling information. Nick is probably the one who overhears the proposal. It is hinted that Brooke learns about the proposal via Nick. After being stunned by the news, the blonde inquires about Ridge's reaction. I can see Brooke consenting to give Nick another opportunity if Ridge says yes. The caution of Sheila Carter-Sharps. Sheila Carter-Sharp will receive a warning, according to previews for the week of June 23 on The Bold and the Beautiful. The redeemed villain discusses the Spencer men's propensity for dishonesty and treachery. Bill Spencer may have been feigning love for her in order to obtain confessions, according to the grandma. Surprisingly, Will appears to be quite similar to his father. Tricked by Luna Nozoa. Will says he dumped Electra Forrester in a promotional video. Will says he is at Luna's flat because he enjoys danger. Will's expression isn't one of lust when Luna begins making out with him. There is obviously a plan in place since it is disgusting. Will might persuade Luna to confide in him and confess her illegal scheme. But because Luna is so cunning, she may receive a hint that anything is off. Will himself and everyone else could be in risk if that occurs. In the glossy chaos of Los Angeles' most glamorous and emotionally charged circles, where betrayal is an art form and loyalty changes as fast as a runway lineup, the Forrester family saga took a jaw-dropping turn as two massive storylines began to converge: Taylor Hayes' impulsive marriage proposal to Ridge Forrester and Will Spencer's undercover entrapment of Luna Nozoa. These explosive moments rippled through every household from Malibu to Bel Air, bringing secrets to the surface, exposing hidden agendas, and threatening long-buried peace with new storms. It all began when Taylor, still haunted by Ridge's emotional ties to Brooke Logan and plagued by the ghosts of their on-again, off-again love story, decided to seize what she thought was her last chance. The catalyst? A smug Brooke boasting that Ridge was clearly still jealous of Nick Marone, who had recently rekindled a flirtation with the ever-radiant Logan matriarch. What started as idle gloating in the Forrester Creations executive suite ended with Taylor, frazzled, emotional, and desperate, not only confronting Ridge about their future but falling to one knee in a symbolic reversal of expectations, pleading for them to finally make it official again. The proposal, while heartfelt, was unplanned and unwise, driven not by shared vision but raw fear of losing Ridge to a past that refused to stay buried. Ridge, ever the gentleman but equally ever the indecisive romantic, looked shell-shocked. His face, caught between compassion and confusion, said it all. This wasn't what he wanted, but maybe it was what he owed her after years of heartbreak. Taylor's eyes brimmed with hope, but Ridge's silence thundered louder than any answer. Unbeknownst to the star-crossed duo, someone else had witnessed this raw moment, a figure from the past with secrets of his own, Nick Marone. Hidden behind the cracked French doors of the Forrester guest house, Nick overheard everything. The moment Taylor's question hung in the air like an unlit chandelier, Nick slipped away, clutching the revelation like a loaded weapon. That very evening, Brooke received a cryptic text summoning her to Il Giardino's private lounge. Waiting in a shadowed booth, Nick greeted her with 2 glasses of white wine and a look that was equal parts mischief and warning. "You'll never guess what I heard today," he whispered, leaning in. When he dropped the bomb, Taylor's proposal, Brooke blinked, dumbfounded. She proposed to Ridge? That's not just desperation, that's delusion. But then her face fell. Did he say yes? Nick shook his head slowly. He didn't say anything. But his face told the whole story. Brooke's mind began to race. If Ridge accepted, even out of guilt, it could mean the final curtain on their decades-long love story. The very idea that he might settle with Taylor out of obligation rattled Brooke to the core. Nick, always the opportunist, saw an opening. He reached for Brooke's hand. If Ridge is really moving on, maybe we should too. Together. Brooke pulled away, clearly torn. Meanwhile, as the hearts and minds of LA's elite fluttered in uncertainty, another subplot simmered, one with much darker stakes. Sheila Carter Sharp, the former villainess now masquerading as a grandmotherly confidant, had been quietly watching the younger generation. At Il Giardino, she cornered Will Spencer, the son of Bill and Katie, and offered him a cryptic warning. The Spencer men have a gift, she hissed softly, for making women trust them right before the dagger goes in. Will, dressed in designer denim and far more grown up than LA remembered him, narrowed his eyes. Are you talking about my father, or me? Sheila smirked. Time will tell. What neither knew then was that Will had been up to something dangerous, something involving Luna Nozawa. Luna, the stunning yet secretive intern with a tangled past, had always been a mystery. Despite her polished surface and connection to Poppy and Lee, whispers followed her, rumors of side deals, illicit connections, and now, whispers of a scheme involving Forrester Creations' international distribution. Electra Forrester, another young heiress recently entangled with Will, had tipped him off before mysteriously disappearing from the social scene. According to Will, Luna may have been orchestrating a quiet but damaging sabotage from within, perhaps in league with an anonymous outside investor looking to take a stake in the company through scandal. So Will, leveraging his Spencer savvy and innate charm, set a plan in motion, get close to Luna, gain her trust, and find out the truth. At Luna's chic West Hollywood apartment, draped in soft candlelight and the scent of gardenia, Will made his move. I like danger, he said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. That's why I'm here. Luna, suspicious yet intrigued, melted into a kiss. But the camera caught Will's face, a flicker of something darker than passion. Not lust. Not love. A calculated repulsion. It was clear, this was a mission. He wasn't falling for Luna. He was trying to trap her. But Luna wasn't just a pretty face, she was sharp, perceptive, and raised by women who taught her never to trust too easily. Something about Will's timing felt off, and his sudden interest reeked of agenda. That night, she did what any wise woman in a soap opera would do, she bugged her own apartment. Meanwhile, Sheila, overhearing fragments of Will's plan from a call he made at the restaurant, began to suspect something bigger was at play. She followed her instincts straight to Poppy Nozawa, confronting her with accusations that Luna was involved in illegal dealings. Poppy slapped Sheila and warned her to stay out of family business, but later that night, Poppy made a tearful call to someone in Tokyo, someone named Mr. Kurosawa, and begged for protection. She knows something, Poppy whispered. If it gets out, everything falls apart. Back at Forrester Creations, chaos was brewing. Ridge had finally given Taylor his answer, let's slow down. The rejection, gentle but final, shattered Taylor, who walked out just as Brooke arrived. The two women locked eyes, and for the first time in a long time, Brooke didn't gloat. Instead, she looked at Taylor with something like pity. Taylor whispered, he'll always choose you. Even when he doesn't want to. Brooke didn't respond. But later that night, as she stared at her phone and reread Nick's messages, she considered what life might look like without Ridge. At the same moment, Will's plan hit a dangerous snag. Luna invited him back for a nightcap, then disappeared into the bedroom, only to return with a USB drive and a cryptic smile. You want proof? She asked. You want a confession? Fine. But be careful what you wish for. She slid the drive into his hand and whispered, you have no idea what kind of danger you've walked into. Before Will could react, the lights cut out. In the shadows, a figure moved, slim, fast, dangerous. A scuffle, a muffled cry, and then silence. When the lights came back on, Will was alone. Luna was gone. The drive was gone. And scrawled on the mirror in lipstick were 3 words, "You were warned." The next morning, chaos reigned. Brooke told Ridge about Taylor's proposal. Nick called Bill to ask about Luna. Sheila met with Deacon behind closed doors. And Will? Will sat in his luxury car, hands shaking, unsure whether he'd just lost control of his mission or stepped into something far deeper than he ever imagined. As these worlds collide, alliances shift, and the lines between love and betrayal blur, one thing is clear: nothing in Los Angeles is what it seems, and every move comes with a price. Nick's intel, Taylor's proposal, and Luna's kiss. It depicts Luna Nozawa planting a kiss on someone. Ridge Forrester receives a proposal from Taylor Hayes. Nick Marone attempts to influence Brooke's choice in the interim. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The marriage proposal of Taylor Hayes. Ridge and Taylor are shown eating at a restaurant at the start of next week's preview footage. Taylor sits at a small table for 2 and pops the question. The brunette declares her desire to wed Ridge. She then begs the designer to inform her that he also wishes to marry. Ridge's expression says it all. Despite his commitment to Taylor and his affection for her, he doesn't appear particularly interested in getting married. The fact that Taylor is making a proposal is intriguing. Ridge was the one who was moving quickly with Taylor not too long ago. Ridge mentioned providing them a place of their own after the two immediately moved in together. Back then, Ridge intended to close the deal as soon as possible, but now that Nick is back after Brooke, it appears that things have changed. Ridge's expression is one of discomfort and embarrassment. Taylor will know all she needs to know if Ridge tells her not to do so at this time. However, I question whether Taylor will do everything to keep the man she desires. The intel of Nick Marone. Nick pays her another visit over with Brooke. Nick appears to have been spying on Ridge. The sailor gives Brooke some upsetting information, but it might possibly be done to influence her choice. Nick knows the blonde is obsessed with Ridge, but he still wants her back. Will she agree to go with Nick if he tells her that Taylor asked Ridge to marry her? Spencer's error. Spoilers for the week of June 23rd on The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Will Spencer visits Luna's apartment. Will admits that he ended his relationship with Electra Forrester when Luna welcomes him inside. We can tell it must be Luna's imagination at this point because the teaser starts to get a little out of control. Will claims that he simply wasn't as excited about Electra as he is by Luna. Will then explains that he is there because he enjoys danger. Luna kisses him passionately after nuzzling his neck. In the tangled web of love and loyalty, betrayal and rekindled passion, the lives of the Forresters, Marones, and Logan women are once again set on a collision course, and as the summer sun casts long shadows over Los Angeles, secrets will surface, hearts will be tested, and choices will echo louder than ever. The week begins with Luna Nozawa's world quietly unraveling beneath her calm exterior. At first glance, the soft murmur of city life outside her apartment seems innocent, routine even, but behind closed doors, the scene that plays out between her and Will Spencer is anything but ordinary. It starts as a moment of unexpected vulnerability, a knock at the door, a hesitant greeting, and then, the stunning confession from Will. He's broken things off with Electra Forrester, a shocking revelation that causes Luna's heart to leap, not just out of excitement, but also confusion. Why now? Why her? Will, ever the charming and enigmatic Spencer, steps closer, his voice low and husky as he tells Luna that while Electra may have been beautiful, she never stirred something deeper in him, the thrill, the spark, the danger, that only Luna does. Luna tries to protest, even manages a single syllable, but it's too late. The electricity crackles between them as Will leans in, and the moment is sealed with a kiss that blurs the line between fantasy and reality. Luna's breath catches in her throat, not just from the passion, but from the realization that this might be something she imagined, or desperately wished were true. Is this Will's real confession, or is Luna lost in the haze of a dangerous daydream, one fueled by longing and uncertainty? Either way, the kiss happens. Lips brush against skin. Fingers tangle in hair. Time slows, and as Luna clutches Will's jacket, the boundaries of friendship, flirtation, and fantasy are obliterated in one impulsive, defining moment. Yet, just as quickly, the illusion could shatter. Whether real or imagined, the kiss will leave Luna changed. And if it is real, the ripple effects could spread beyond her cozy apartment into the tangled love lines of the Forresters and Spencers. Meanwhile, across town, at a quiet and upscale restaurant nestled in the hills, Taylor Hayes is preparing to change her life, and Ridge Forrester's, forever. With only a flickering candle between them, Taylor looks into Ridge's eyes and speaks with quiet determination. She's not one to push, not usually, but she spent too many years being cautious, patient, always waiting in the wings while Ridge's heart ping-ponged between herself and Brooke Logan. Tonight, that ends. Taylor places her hand on his, and with a vulnerability that stings beneath her brave smile, she says the words that could alter the course of their future. She wants him to marry her. No more ambiguity. No more waiting. No more someday. She wants a ring, a date, and a future with the man she loves. Ridge, caught off guard, doesn't respond right away. He stares into Taylor's eyes, searching for the right words. It's not that he doesn't love her, he does, deeply. But commitment? Marriage? Especially now? Taylor senses the hesitation, sees the flicker of something unspoken in Ridge's expression. It's awkward. Painful. And yet, it speaks volumes. Ridge's silence is deafening, and for Taylor, it's as if she can already hear her heart breaking in the pause. For months, they've built a rhythm, moving in together, re-establishing their connection, rebuilding what was lost. But now that Nick Marone is back in Brooke's orbit, and by extension, Ridge's, the foundation seems shakier. Has Ridge truly moved on from Brooke? Or is he just biding time until the door to his past swings open again? Taylor knows Ridge's patterns better than anyone. And the moment she sees the discomfort in his eyes, she realizes the truth may be darker than she hoped. Her voice trembles as she asks again, does he want this? Does he want her? And across town, the woman at the center of it all, Brooke Logan, finds herself pulled back into an all-too-familiar spiral. Nick Marone, dashing as ever, walks through her door with the kind of confidence that makes hearts stutter. He's not here to make small talk. Nick has information. Intel. And though he tries to couch it as concern, Brooke knows Nick too well to take it at face value. He tells her that he's been watching Ridge and Taylor, specifically. He saw Taylor propose. He saw Ridge hesitate. And he thought Brooke should know. Why? That's the question. Is it out of friendship? Jealousy? Or is Nick playing his own endgame, hoping that if Brooke sees Ridge falter with Taylor, she'll realize her true place is with him? Brooke listens, carefully, but her mind is spinning. Hearing about Taylor's bold proposal, about Ridge's lack of enthusiasm, it stirs something in her. Not hope, not quite. But confusion. Could Ridge really still be hers? Would he want her back? Should she even consider it? Nick watches her face closely, waiting to see if she'll bite. He tells her he's not here to manipulate, but his voice is smooth, persuasive. He reminds her of their history. Their passion. Their laughter. How they were fire and water, danger and devotion all at once. He tells her Ridge may be confused, but he's not. He knows what he wants. He wants her. Brooke's hands tremble slightly as she grips her wine glass. She's been down this road before. More than once. And while part of her wants to believe Nick, wants to believe that love can be simpler with someone who doesn't second-guess her, she can't ignore the echo of Ridge's name in her heart. So, when Nick leans in closer, his voice barely above a whisper, and asks her to leave with him, start fresh, away from the drama, Brooke doesn't answer right away. She can't. Because while her mind spins with logic and consequences, her heart is trapped between past and present, between the safe embrace of a man who always wanted her and the chaotic, uncertain love of the one who always left. Back at the restaurant, Taylor sits frozen, her hands still hovering over Ridge's. The silence has stretched too long. She tries to smile, to brush it off, to joke about proposing first being unconventional. But the moment hangs heavy between them. Ridge finally speaks, but it's not the yes she hoped for. It's a pause. A hesitant, "I need time." Taylor blinks, the words hitting her like cold water. She swallows hard, nods, and tells him she understands. But inside, she doesn't. Not really. Because if Ridge wanted her, truly wanted her, why would he hesitate? Why wouldn't he leap at the chance to make it official, to build a life with her? Unless someone else still holds a piece of his heart. The thought is unbearable. And as she stares at Ridge across the table, she realizes that Nick's return may not be the only threat. Brooke's still in the picture. Always has been. Always will be. Luna, meanwhile, is still reeling from her encounter with Will. Whether real or not, the kiss has stirred something in her she can't quite define. If it was fantasy, it means her feelings for Will run deeper than she admitted. And if it was real, then the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for her, but for Elektra, for Will, and for the entire Forrester family. Secrets have a way of coming out in this world. One whispered conversation. One leaked photo. One careless confession. That's all it takes. Luna sits on her bed, her fingers brushing her lips, remembering the weight of Will's kiss. She wonders what it means. For him. For her. For everything. And across the city, as the night deepens and the stars pierce through the sky like tiny needles of fate, Brooke stands at her window, Nick's offer still ringing in her ears. She could leave. She could start over. But could she ever really leave Ridge behind? And as Ridge drives Taylor home in silence, the diamond ring in her purse heavy with unspoken rejection, he wonders, if Taylor had waited, if Nick hadn't shown up, would he have said yes? Or is his heart already making its way back to the woman who never truly left it? In the world of the bold and the beautiful, choices are never simple, hearts are never safe, and every moment could be the one that changes everything. So as the week unfolds, 3 moments, Luna's kiss, Taylor's proposal, and Nick's intel, become the pulsing core of a storm that is just beginning to brew. What happens next will not only alter relationships, but test every character's loyalty, passion, and resolve.